Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to do this off camera.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
I'm not. I was upstate New York last month. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. So my mother lives in Vinegar, Tennessee. And I came to be with her a few years ago. And then I fell in love. Yeah. It is pretty great. It's okay. It's a little hot.
It would be for you.
Definitely.
But anything well, I assume that my installation worked. There's not been some Saturday.
I was thinking some of this. A million years ago. Yeah. So,
That, and you know what? That's exactly what happened.
Yep.
It was a sit mode and I did not, literally did not bounce. I just
Oh.
well, I also got air sick.
I just, we do ours.
So I started pilot training on the 3
First
times.
meeting is the new year.
It was eventually.
Yep. During the week of July.
But I think
There it is. I just sent out Monday night, our
I have not a whole lot, you know, we don't, it's like not a firefighter. And I told the recruiter there, she said, don't worry about it, get over it. And I guess about 95.
very nice.
Wow. Here only just time 12 years. Yeah. She's not real favored. But I did have at least for one class, I had a female instructor, so it helped a little bit. But she was pretty much at the scale. Yeah. There was no sweetness in life.
Maybe she doesn't.
Nobody knows. Yes, we're not lying. Yeah, here we are.
All right, ready. Start.
I went to, yeah. It's so great.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Greater Huntsville and Fountains Day. This is a very, very special day for many reasons, but it wouldn't be a Rotary Club of Greater Huntsville meeting without starting a song with Bill Redfern. Bill, you guys are standing with us, please. Try a little guidance. All right, leading us in the pledge today is going to be Alex McDowell. Alex.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Rudy Chavez will lead us in prayer.
Let me just start by asking you to look at the colors of our Paul Harris, the colors of Ukraine. Peace be with the families and the people in Ukraine. We thank our leaders for this Rotary year. It's been absolutely wonderful. And we ask for blessings for our leaders in the future. So I'll start off with, Lord, in your loving hands, hold our troops, first responders, and all who serve during this difficult time. Protect them as they protect us. Bless them and their families for the selfless acts they perform. Help us to be generous with our time, our possessions, our mission of truth, fairness, and goodwill, so we may benefit all. Bless this food and deepen our Rotarian spirit of friendship. Bless us, O Lord, for this thy gifts we're about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Go ahead, be seated, finish eating, we'll start testimony.
Ken and Lynn just got back from Italy last night.
That's what we're just talking about.
You were, I'm just.
You said he's doing, wait. Interesting. Clean. I got real issues. I saw. Yeah. So I looked up, I see helicopter, and this was carrying the bucket.
Right. That's how I remember.
Well, I think also, I think some of it is already, also doing medicine. Yeah, seen it, of course, this was June when we went. Yeah, so southern. Let's say that can't be done.
A long ways off.
That's why we haven't had rain in scattered showers, but we just didn't seem to pop up. Okay.
It's been dry. For some reason, people watch this. I actually had.
Watch the radar and the storm, whether they roll to the northwest or the south. But it looked like, it always looks like around Huntsville, they don't go over Huntsville. So
The San Esteban Bay is fine. That's the goal. That it'll come. They still get some. And I'm not saying you think the Bible wants to get goes around. You see lightning and light show. Dark.
We had a brief on Sunday.
Yes. Splash pad, so you just have to make, you know, donation. Open it up. So, I just said that's
Yeah. When I drove Lawrence last week, twisted the corner.
Bill, you not ready, man?
I probably don't need to come up until I'm
Yeah.
ready to finish. Okay.
All right, hope everybody, this is on.
Use your Cliff Broderick voice.
Right, where's Cliff? Comes the rescuers. Check it out. There we go. All right, I'm live. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate that. Well, today's a fantastic day, guys. I'm super excited for many reasons. To see all these people in this room, all these Rotarians have done so much for service above self is the first reason why I'm excited. We've got some very special dignitaries here today. We're going to announce in a minute. I'm really excited about that. And if you guys don't know, today is my last day as president of Rotary. Have to admit, there's a little bit of excitement around that for me today, so. A couple of housekeeping items. If you could all please silence your phones so they don't go off during the presentation, that'd be fantastic. And we're going to save a lot of the pictures till the end of the presentation, so please do stick around. We will take some group photos and individual photos at the end of the ceremony. Again, this club has never ceased to amaze me, but this year, as being the president, I've really seen intimately the hard work and the dedication of every member of this club. I've seen this club grown with some amazing people that truly have a heart for service above self. And I think a great example to share with you guys is, I was looking over the Paul Harris Fellows for this club this year, and I was looking at the dollars that have been given. And just from our active roster, this isn't even all the folks that were prior members for as long as this club has been around. This club has given over $350,000 to the Rotary Foundation. That was a count of over $550,000 we've given to our own foundation since the club began. And again, if we go back and look at all the previous members and add this up, I'm sure it's doubled in that. So that's just fantastic. It just really shows the heart that this club has and the passion and the giving that they have as well. With that, I would like to, we're not going to announce all of the guests that are here today. I would like to have all the guests that are in the room today with us. If you would just please stand for a second, we can recognize you, please. We've got a lot of them today. Yeah. Applications in for membership. I see some folks we haven't seen in a long time, and super excited to see this room full of great people. I would like to introduce some very special guests today. I'm going to be careful about their titles because I could probably go on all meeting long with all the titles they've had serving Rotary over the years. But first, I would like to introduce past Rotary International President, Mark Maloney. Mark, thank you for being here. I believe he's on the foundation board now and probably many other things. Another man that if I said all of his titles over the years, we'd be here all day. He's currently the chair of the council legislation and past vice chairman of the Rotary Foundation, Ken Schubert. Ken, thank you for being here. Also would like to introduce a man that might be pretty excited about this week as well. Done a fabulous job bringing our district out of COVID and re-energizing us. One of the best district conferences I've been to. Our current district governor, Harold Lewis, and his wife, Tricia. Also in attendance is our incoming district governor, Mike Wade. Mike, thank you for being here, sir. And someone very near and dear to our heart, our district governor-elect, Mary Grace Evans. Mary Grace. That is a special person right there. With that, I have an exciting moment here. We're going to induct a brand new member. Reginald, would you like to come up, sir? Mark, I'm going to have you lead this. Reggie, we got a very special induction for you today where Mr. Mark Maloney is going to be inducting you as a new member. I need a pen.
Yes, Reginald, I have one right here.
Straight from Mark Maloney.
Straight
Take
from
that.
Mark Maloney.
Take that one. Thanks.
So Reggie, I see, you are in education and a brand new member of the Rotary Club of Greater Huntsville. And out here you see a lot of other people who are just as interested in your community and their community, your community, and are willing to welcome you into service for this community. So it's my pleasure to officially induct you, and may I push this through here? And officially induct you as a member of the Rotary Club of Greater Huntsville, Alabama. And fellow Rotarians, would you please welcome Reggie to the club?
All right. We also have another special announcement. We probably had the best fundraising chair in the history of our club. We've done an amazing job raising money for our foundation. And Joanne Perez, if you'd like to come up, she's also our president-elect nominee and has an announcement on our last fundraiser of the year, Derby Day.
So first of all, I wanted to say thank you to everyone because, you know, it takes a village and you're the village. Thank you guys for all your sponsorships. Thanks for people at the last minute ran and got desserts or whatever we needed. Thanks to our MC who just popped in and said he was willing to do it. And because of everyone's efforts, we were able to raise, drumroll, $30,166.98. This year of $59,059.66. Give yourself.
Well, I'm kind of excited about that since I'm the foundation president next year. So I get to hand out most of that money. But Joanne, fabulous job and fabulous job to the entire club that pitched in to make those some awesome fundraisers. So thank you for that. All right. We're going to have our special guest provide a few comments. You know, Founders Day is to celebrate you as being a Paul Harris Fellow. And so our special dignitary should tell us a little bit about what it means to be a Paul Harris Fellow and how significant our foundation is in Rotary and the extreme impact that we have locally and around the world. So we're going to start with Mr. Mark Malone. Mark.
Thank you, Chris. It is a pleasure for me to be with the Rotary Club of Greater Huntsville today. I consider myself the grandfather of this club, not the father, but the grandfather, because I was the governor in the year that this club was chartered. And that would have been the spring of 1990, when I was district governor, 89, 90. And not only did I just happen to be the governor, I was the one that got people motivated in Huntsville to go ahead and form a second Rotary Club in the city of Huntsville. And I can tell you, not that I've had any regrets in the 32 years that it's been since 1990, but I absolutely, when I look out at this crowd today, I have no regrets. So today there's a focus on the Rotary Foundation, and President Chris has asked me to describe one particular story that he's heard me tell about my experience with the foundation. Many of us have Rotary moments, some moment in our Rotary career that brings to the fore the impact that Rotary has across the world and has an impact on our lives. And one of my Rotary moments happened in Vietnam. Gay and I were in Vietnam in December 2019, when I was president of Rotary International and travel had not yet been stopped, as it would be the following March. And at that point, Vietnam was not yet a Rotary country, although it is now. And we were in Hanoi, Vietnam, joining together with Rotarians from Southern California and South Korea, who were using a Rotary Foundation grant in conjunction with Operation Smile to provide cleft palate and cleft lip corrective surgeries. I have to say that slow, so I say it right. And these Operation Smile folks, they have organizations in many different countries, and they have this down pat. When they have people who are coming in as supporters, they assign each volunteer supporter who's coming in to a family. And Gay and I were assigned to a family that came from further north in Vietnam, from the Hmong community. And so, a minority within Vietnam. And this was a young man, about 25 years old, who was there with his 5-month-old daughter and his wife's sister. The wife was back in the village because they had a fish shop and she had to cater a wedding that weekend. And so we were introduced to the family. We escorted them, accompanied them as they were registered, and they provided all the information, and they were selected for surgery. And I was pretty sure that when the president of Rotary International was assigned to you, you were going to be selected for surgery. And I had the opportunity to carry the young baby girl into the operating theater to watch the entire operation. This was a cleft lip repair, and to bring the girl back and place it in the hands of her father. That was one of the first times I wore a mask. Remember, masks? You've heard of masks? Anyway, and this young man who speaks no English started singing a lullaby to his daughter. And the lullaby he's singing is Frère Jacques in French. Now, I don't know many songs in French, but I know that one in French. And so does Gay. And we were able to sing along with him. And here we think that we are having such an impact upon this family's lives. But he was having an impact on us, because here this Buddhist Hmong young man, 25 years old, comes up, gives us a hug, and he's a Buddhist now, comes up to each of us and makes the sign of the cross on our foreheads. What a moving moment that was. And because of the Rotary Foundation, hundreds of young infants and young children received life-saving surgery that day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. We appreciate that. And I'm sure there's thousands and thousands of stories like that across the world from Rotarians. Ken Schubert, love to hear from you, sir. Mr. Vice Chairman of the Rotary Foundation, come on up.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Chris asked me to speak a little bit about the polio side. I've just finished a 3-year term on what's called Rotary loves acronyms, the IPPC, International Polio Plus Committee. And it's been a very interesting committee to serve on. So I'll give you some interesting facts because we as Rotarians throughout our district, throughout the world, do a lot to support that as we undertook to eradicate polio back in the mid-1980s. Of course, the first drops were given in the Philippines, I believe in 1979, by President Jim Omar from Tennessee. And I say President of Rotary International. So when we talk about what we're doing, and we've come a long way. I think you probably, or hopefully you've heard the story. I mean, when we started this, roughly 350,000 cases a year of polio that were occurring. And we've come a long way with vaccinating around the world. You may be like myself. I remember in Decatur in 1960 going to Walter Jackson Elementary School and getting my little skew that had some little dot of something in it, and I had no idea. 6 years old, and but I dissolved it in my mouth. So, you know, no big issue to me. And it wasn't really, it was interesting when I talk about polio because my grandfather on my mother's side had polio, Henry Crystal. And I noticed, you know, as a kid growing up, whenever he got in the car, he had to pick his leg up. He had and mind you, we're back in the 60s, 70s. We'd go for Thanksgiving to little Kentucky. He had a cart that we couldn't ride on, but it was for him to be able to get up the stairs in their 2-story house in downtown Louisville. It's interesting, he passed away in the 1970s, that joined Rotary in 1982, and mid 80s when we started this effort on polio. Me, oh, my grandfather had polio. And I've come full circle to realize the effects of polio that I didn't realize for all that time with my grandfather as I grew up. Where have we gotten? We, you know, a lot of times I hear we're this close or something. Well, we are. And it's interesting on the committee because last year there were only 6 cases worldwide. Unfortunately, this year we're at 12. And Mark and I get reports that come out basically weekly to tell you in the cases, and predominantly of those 12, I think it's 10, it could be 8 to 10 are in Pakistan, and 1 or 2 in Afghanistan, and 1 showed up in Mozambique, which was kind of surprising. So there's a lot of effort goes into what do we do in Rotary because of these cases. I've had, as I mentioned, the last 3 years on the International Polio Plus Committee. And what that does is works on behalf of Rotary, the World Health Organization, and UNICEF, and we've had the CDC represented there, others. And we, because the gates are so good, match 2 for 1 up to $100 million of what we can produce. And we've been fortunate as Rotary has to produce about 50 million the last several years, and there's it'll go for another couple of years. It's a commitment that the Gates hadn't said forever, but they extended. And so $150 million, and 3 times a year, I would go to a committee meeting, and the last year or two, they've been Zoom meetings. But divide up $50 million. It's interesting, I've told some folks just affectionately, I've got a meeting tomorrow, I've got to go to sometime early, it was to travel to, and I got to go give away $50 million. And I've had a lot of people, oh, how do I get in line to get some of that money? And I said, well, it's not real hard. If you're a little adventurous, if you're willing to go to Afghanistan, carry a backpack with vaccines on your back, and dodge the bullets from the Taliban, and deliver the vaccine to children throughout Pakistan, Afghanistan, I'll get you some money and get you in line to do this. You know, not one person said a real interest in that. They didn't have the interest in that money. Anyway, we're working hard on that, but I thought you might be interested because I had a meeting just 3.5 weeks ago. And your money, because it was divvying up $50 billion, $784. The way it went is to different regions and things that for surveillance, mobilization to be able to get it out, then operational support, outbreak response is a big area. There was over 21 million of that 50 used for outbreak response, and others were, buying stockpiles of the vaccine. So that's a little bit. We've come a long way. We're not there yet, but Africa has been polio free now, certified 2 years ago this August, I believe, and being free. There is something, and I do want to, because it's a term that has driven me crazy. And if you hear it, I don't want you to be alarmed because I think World Health has finally given me some satisfaction. But there's a term called polio-derived vaccine. Polio-derived vaccine. Or vaccine-derived polio. Vaccine-derived polio. And I thought, oh my gosh, it is not coming vaccine. Why in the world they chose that? Or at least they tell me at the CDC and the World Health, what they're describing, and it's just happened here in the last week or two in England. There have been some cases that they call. It's from the lack of vaccine, they say, is causing, where we've assumed an area to be polio free and the vaccinated children has dropped or become complacent. And then a case shows up and they call it vaccine-derived polio. I've told them there would be a lot better term to use for at least a simple-minded person like me. But they said that's the generally accepted term. But the numbers I was giving you was of the wild polio virus that we had 12 cases this year. So you can be proud of what you support, or I hope you can be proud, I am, of what you support in trying to eradicate polio. And as Chris said, I go on with all kinds, but I'm going to leave you with one little quick quote. It's from Paul Harris, Power of Goodwill. Good works are not all there is in Rotary. Good works are expression only of something beneath. Some of the most powerful forces in the world are invisible: electricity, gravity. Even the air we breathe is invisible, and yet it sustains life. The power of Rotary is invisible, and yet it performs miracles. Gates of empires have been lifted, their hinges by the power of ideas. Beneath the good works of Rotary, there is an invisible power. It is the power of goodwill, and by virtue of the power of goodwill, Rotary exists. Thank you for what you do in support of the Rotary Foundation.
Thank you, Ken. You know, unfortunately, I still run into people sometimes that say, what is Rotary? What do you do? And especially with this club, I could go on for hours about all the great things we do in our community in the world. But one of the first things I say is, well, we eradicate polio throughout the world. And that's an awesome thing to be able to say. Mr. Lewis, please come up.
That's the first time I've ever anybody turned the mic down. He was tall. I've got to do one thing, and I apologize, it's a little bit out of the sequence, but I have one day left. You're over today, I have one day left. But I've got to acknowledge my two replacements standing here. Mike Wade is, of course, the district governor-elect who will become the district governor tomorrow, and he's going to do a phenomenal job. But just right behind him is this beautiful lady sitting next to him, which will be the district governor nominee, now currently the district governor-elect. And soon in 1 year, she will be standing up here as your district governor. Chris called me and he said, Harold, I want you to give a presentation on the importance of, or how you affected, and how the Paul Harris Fellow affects you and affects the club in general. And I stood up and immediately said, well, yes, I'll do that. Well, I also remember that's how I became the district governor, but I said, I'll do that. But the bottom line is, it's not as easy as it sounds. It's one of those things that gets embedded into you. It's part of who you are. When you become a Paul Harris Fellow, and it's obviously everybody in this room fits that role, you live that story. It's how you feel. When you look at someone that has the Paul Harris Fellow pin on, you recognize them as a peer, someone who believes in the things that we do around the world, the things that we can't imagine are being done daily, the operations you're talking about. Eradicating, can you imagine eradicating a disease? I mean, in 1985, when they said they're going to eradicate the disease, that was like, oh, come on. Only thing that people that can happen there is God does something like that. Well, maybe he's ready to do it. The bottom line is that being a Paul Harris Fellow is something that is phenomenal. You believe it, you breathe it. Things that you do, the Paul Harris Fellow money goes towards making a difference in the world. It goes to the foundation for humanitarian efforts. We talked about Ukraine just a few minutes ago. One of the things that Mark led just a few months ago is about getting money through the Paul Harris Fellow to Ukraine to help in the ratification they're having there. Our convention that we had in Houston just last month, when they brought out the Ukraine flag, people stood up for an ovation. Probably took 5 minutes, 10 minutes. They just would never sit down because of what it represented them. We as Rotarians to try to help them in the crisis that's going on over there. That's who it is. That's what Paul Harris is. I want you all now to stand up. I get to do one thing even before these gifts are given out. That was Mary Grace. This club is going to have one of the unique titles that you'll ever have. And you'll become, in this moment, you're going to become a 100% membership that are Paul Harris Fellows. I want you to turn to your right, shake the hand with your fellow Paul Harris Fellow, turn to the left, and do the same thing. And Chris, if I can shake your hand, I'll turn this putting it over to you, my friend, and thank you for allowing me.
Thank you, Harold, for announcing that. That is something very special we worked really hard on over the past couple months. that every current member, that's not a new member this year, new members that just started this year don't count, but every other member of our club is a Paul Harris Fellow, and that's just absolutely amazing. So it's maybe something we can strive to do each and every year as our new members roll over into the next year. But that is very special when you see the impact that we have of being Paul Harris Fellows. With that, we have recognitions for you, Paul Harris Fellows and Paul Harris Fellow Plus. I'd ask Will Kirkpatrick to come up, past District Governor and our current Rotary International Foundation Chair. Come on up, Will.
Just so you know, we had a total of 35 recipients that we could recognize today. But in the interest of time, for those that aren't present, we will try not to mention their name, and we will recognize them at a meeting down the road. So first of all, those members that are newly anointed Paul Harris Fellows. And I'm going to just name the name and come on up. And Mike and Ken will pin the pin on you, and we'll try to get a process going here. Okay, so we have the first on my list is Phil. Is Phil?
All right, Phil.
Bill, thank you for your support of the Rotary Foundation, man.
Next would be Mary Edgecombe.
Mary is online. Mary, see you online. There she is.
Yay.
Thank you.
Be rough on that TV.
We'll save the pin for next time.
Where's Phil?
Phil, we've
Phil,
got some.
I forgot to give you.
Oh, that's right, yeah. We are going to give each of the new Paul Harris Fellows medallions. We had enough medallions to do that because the International Foundation no longer gives the medallions to new Paul Harris Fellows, but we had some that we had in storage, so to speak. So we figured we would go ahead and give medallions to those recipients today. Next, we have Mary Lawrence.
Hey, Mary. I wanted to say a little comment about Mary. She's one of the few folks in this room that understand the extreme efforts of being the treasurer of the club, like Marcia and Ray also understand. So, Mary, thanks for all you've done for our club.
Next would be Carolyn Courier.
All right, give it away. And I would like to say Carolyn understands the difficult job of being secretary of the club along with us. So thank you, Carolyn, for all you do.
May I put this on? Thank you. Thank you for your support of the Rotary Foundation. I'm sorry, I'm just. There you go. And medallion goes. Thank you very much.
Jenny Yusufiako. I'm pronouncing.
Jenny.
There she is.
Jenny, can you say your name? It's pronounced. It's a beautiful name.
Yutsevich.
Thank you.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. There you go,
Support of the
Jim.
foundation. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next would be Seth Barrington.
And Steph not only is a new Paul Harris Fellow member, but he's also newly married as of 2 weeks ago. Congratulations.
Thank you for your support. Congratulations.
Next would be Stuart Whitaker.
Here's your medallion suit.
Now we're going to recognize the members of our club who are Paul Harris plus one. Each level is an additional $1,000 that has been given. And so this is plus one. They were already Paul Harris fellows, but they are now up to the next level. And let's see here, first of all, Chris Kern.
I got a tribute too. Thank you for your support of the Rotary Foundation.
Joanne Perez. Next, Cheryl Smith.
Cheryl, I'll get the pen in my hand. I'll shake your hand. All right. Thank you for your support of the Rotary Foundation. That is thick material. It's tough material. There we go. Thank you very much.
Ernie Young.
Extra boxes.
Thank you for your support.
We now will recognize those who are at the Paul Harris Fellow +3 level. First would be Pete Luther.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Pete, thank you for your support of the Rotary Foundation. Thank you. Here's the box.
Next would be Nicole Cuman. I missed the Paul Harris Fellow who is present, but he wasn't. And so would Justin Gibbons please come up?
There you go. All right. You're going to see Justin often, but he's behind the scenes on the website and on YouTube and doing all kinds of wonderful things behind the scenes for us, Justin. We appreciate you, man.
Don't scare me like that. Thank you. Wait, don't leave. You got your, no, I got your medallion right there. He's got the next guy. He's the next guy.
All right, now we'll recognize those that are to a level 4, level +4. First of all would be Cliff Broderick.
Cliff Broderick.
At least everybody knows my name.
We can't hear you, Cliff.
Yeah, I know. Like you say, you'll hear me before you see me,
It's called the early warning system.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm, that's right. Thank you, Cliff, all you do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I got a box. Let's see.
Jim French.
Put this in my box. Well, the box is so you can store that one when you get the next one. Oh, I see. I thought I was gonna supposed to give this to Stella. Oh, I don't know what happened to it. I took it out.
Thank you for your support of the Rotary Foundation. Yeah. Here's your box.
The next at level 4, Todd Kirk.
Thank you for supporting the foundation.
Thank you, Don. Great to see you.
And also at level 4, Carol Teevee-Palmer.
Hello, Carol. Thank you for your support of the Rotary Foundation. Good to see you.
Yes, Karen. Thank you.
Oh, here's your box. Don't forget your box.
Now we go to level 5, Johnny Ozier.
Thank you, John. Good to see you.
John.
Ready for it? And now for level 8, if I can take this off. Will Kirkpatrick.
Well, thank you for your support of the Rotary Foundation. Don't forget your box.
And the last tier are the major donors. We actually have three major donors. that I'm going to name, and if you're here, please come forward. What they receive, their pin and other things, usually are sent directly to their home. So we at the club normally don't see that. But first major donor would be Art Meyer.
Thank you, Art, for your ongoing support.
Thank you, Art. Thank you very much.
And just so you know, the major donor is one who has reached $10,000 of giving. And you can't use recognition points to become a major donor. It has to be the cold cash. So, the second would be Mike Rogers.
Thank you for your support.
Thanks so much.
And the third would be Chuck Adams.
Chuck, thank you for all the support the foundation you've done, continue to do. You're doing good work.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate your support.
Now we're going to recognize those who have been gifted Paul Harris Fellow recognitions. First would be the gifting Rotarian is Cheryl Smith, and the recipient is James Smith.
Now's your chance.
I'm just going to tell everyone how proud I am of my husband and glad to gift this to him for his career of community service. First as a House of Representatives, member of the legislature, and then 3 terms as state senator, and nearly 28 years as a judge, circuit judge here, 9.5 of which has been retired and still showing up every day with a full caseload. So,
Next would be the recipient, Joan Keever, and the gifting Rotarian who do the pinning is Jim French. Oh, and Jeff TV Paul also is part of the gifting. It was a dual gift. That's what it is.
Just figure out how you want to divide and conquer the pen.
Pen.
Okay. I'll pen, you speak.
We're recognizing Joan. As many of you know, she's the educator at Jemison High School, who's the coach for the robotics team, and has done so much for so many of those young people over the years. and helped so many along the way in life. And we just think she's very deserving of all the hours she spent and helped so many young people.
Next recipient would be David Witt. Gifting Rotarian, Carol TV.
I am so proud of my younger brother, David. He has been in this law enforcement for over 40 years. He was a volunteer. He's worked in schools, worked for the Athens Police Department. He is now in his retirement, coming back, and has been working with the Limestone County Sheriff Department as a resource officer in the Limestone Tech School. And I'm just so proud of all the work he's done for the
Next would be Mona Quayles, husband Roger Quayles is the donor.
Guys you depended on her,
Yes,
it
yes.
would be a lot more helpful.
Mona, afraid that you will stab her or something?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Excuse me?
What?
Congratulations.
I just want to let you know, the last international conference we went to was in Toronto. And we were able to meet the Ugandan delegation. And we met Mrs. Awori. She's now passed away. But we're halfway through the global grant to build a simple school in Uganda in his name.
This is supposed to be about me.
Good job. Good job.
The next two people have one donor. The recipients are Gina Ozier Hayes and Michelle Ozier Wallace. Accepting for Michelle will be Alice Ozier, and Johnny Ozier is the donor.
These are my two daughters. Michelle had a baby about a month ago, just short of a month, so she couldn't be here today. But I want to tell you that Roger Paul's project in Uganda and the contributions that I made for the children is part of the reason why these are available. And so, Roger, these girls need to thank you. And I thank you, and I thank the hundreds of children in Uganda that you have supported and this club has supported. How many are we supporting this year, Roger?
56.
56 children the tuition for their schooling in Uganda for a year is being supported by this club. So Roger, thank you.
Next recipient is Eileen Luther with the gifting Rotarian, husband Peter.
Well, a lot of you may know Eileen. But then a lot of you may not know Eileen because she's the one that goes out with me and designs the wheelchair ramps that we frequently build in this club, as you all know. And I just want to recognize her for her service. It's what she's done. She's also helped us on many weekday ramp builds as well.
She also makes good cookies.
All right, we've got two special gifts to give Paul Harris Fellows to. Is Ron Wainwright available? Where's Ron? Ron, come on up, sir. I'd like to be a part of this. It's great to see Ron. We haven't seen him much since COVID. Looks as young as what he did when he was president. I'd like to give him a lot of recognition. He was a mentor for me as I was his treasurer and coming to the presidency. Ron, giving points to two people that have been integral in over many years this club functioning so well, and coming off being president, I can say firsthand, absolutely right. But I'd like to ask Kelly Middlebrooks and Chantel Faulkner to please come up. These two have been absolutely amazing in getting our Zoom going and keeping us organized and setting up functions like this. And it's the least we can do to thank you for all that you've done for us.
$10,000.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask past President Elizabeth Garcia to please come up. Elizabeth has been amazing for this club. She was president for 18 months during COVID. And she's got a special presentation, something that we've worked hard on as a club to memorialize somebody that was very special to us, but also continue our service in our community. We've got a big focus on underserved youth. You can tell by our robotics clubs, both in junior high school and high school. And we've got a special project that we're going to do year on out to continue that going.
It's been a wonderful, wonderful day. It's great to see everyone. And I have a very wonderful task for me today. It's my pleasure to make a special presentation today to honor Gary Andrews, whose legacy continues to inspire our club, our district, and well beyond. As we all know, Gary served in many capacities as a Rotarian over the years, as club president, district governor, and in many other roles. He, as well as our club, had a special passion for youth development, especially in preparing young people for successful careers in our community. He, along with D.G. Harold, very much wanted our club to provide scholarships to students seeking advanced manufacturing certifications and other forms of specialized vocational training, focusing especially on underserved youth. Today, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Greater Huntsville, through its foundation, I'm proud to say that we are now able to realize Gary's wish. And now, Joanne, we would like to present to you on this day of June 29, 2022, the Rotary Club of Greater Huntsville, in partnership with KTEC and Kids to Love Initiative, has established the Gary Andrews Memorial Scholarship Fund. And this is in commemoration. This is in commemoration of Gary's tireless dedication to service above self that remains a testament to all Rotarians. Thank you.
Thank you.
For just a moment. Mark, Kim, and Harold, would you mind joining us for a letter later? Can we get one more photo?
I'd just like to say thank you so much. This is a real honor. Gary loved you. He loved Rotary. And he really was what Rotary is all about. Loving and sharing and giving.
Excellent. Now, I'd like to call Dorothy and Gray up to the podium or up to the table. We have another very special presentation in line with what I just told. And now I'd like to also present Dorothy Havens, KTEC Director, with a check in the amount of $5,500 to be given annually for this scholarship to the KTEC program. And to bring this full circle, we will work with our Vocational Services Chair and the Robotics Club to assist Jemison High School students in applying for this scholarship. Thank you very much.
Are we out of time yet? Sir, Jim had not a comment he wanted to make on the local event close out. Jim, our incoming president, starting Friday. Yes.
Chris, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Greater Huntsville, we wanted to present you with a Rotary bell. So that you could keep ringing the bell Rotary even after you're.
Well, with that, that concludes our ceremony. I want to thank you all again for being here today. It's been a fabulous event. Our dignitaries, thank you for being here. You made it extra special. And just thank you for everything that you guys have done this year. We'll have a meeting later next year to talk about the success that you accomplished last year, but we really wanted to celebrate you today because you make the difference. So with that, if you please stand, and we'll end with a four-way test. We don't have the sign, so we're really testing it today. Right? Of all the things that we think, say or do. First, is it true? Second, is it fair? Third, will it be? friendships, and forth.
will be beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you for being here.
Well done. Thank you so much.
My horse, I got him. I'll survive. You guys are.
Thank you.